Has it occurred to anybody else as a bad idea to let our elderly people watch the news anymore? It's bad for their mental health. So what's been in the news lately is the attack threats by North Korea. Guam is in a bit of trouble, according to Kim Jong-un, and only Kim Jong-un. Or, as my grandmother's been calling him, Kimmy Kong-ku. Although that's difficult to fault her for, because I've been Matt 3 times this week. So, why is North Korea getting our old ladies worried? Well, that's because of a threatened nuclear devastation against a United States territory. That's just close enough to them for people to think they'll actually be able to hit with their duct tape and string rockets. Now, I've found myself having to explain this to a couple of people, so I figured I might as well share it with everybody. Why I don't think at all that North Korea is anything to worry about. And the most of this will be in answer to a couple of questions. One, what the hell is wrong with Kim Jong-un, and why is he doing this shit? Two, would he actually do it? Three, how much damage could potentially be done if he did? And 4, well, what would be the consequences? So, roughly in order, here it goes. Now, to start with, Kim Jong-un, or Kimmy Kong-ku, as is a lot more fun to say, is the son of Kim Jong-il. You might remember the guy, about 4 feet tall, even though his uniform that he wore included disco platforms. And, well, he had the same hairstylist as the guy from Ancient Aliens, but let's not discuss that. As much as that guy was a deranged megalomaniacal freak, now we've got his son to contend with. The only guy in North Korea who's more than 200 pounds, and is flat out retarded. And I know that this is gonna get some heat, so I'm gonna come out and say this. I mean retarded not as, hey, he's retarded. I mean that in, like, the most sensitive and sympathetic way I can mean it. Kim Jong-un is retarded. I'm convinced he has Down syndrome. So what this means is, roughly, that we've got this retarded, fat sack of shit stumbling his way around Pyongyang, molesting prototype rockets and attempting to eat his generals. And he's the king of a country. Or, no, actually, not a king. Supreme ruler, I believe he calls himself. Supreme ruler of the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea. Yeah. So, is this guy a legitimate threat? Well, considering their track record of the last decade or so, no. You see, I'm not 100% sure how many people know about this, because nobody cares. But North Korea has been threatening the United States, Canada, Russia, China a few times, Japan, South Korea a lot, and just about everyone else that they can point out on a globe for a long time, with nuclear annihilation, poison attacks, and just flat-out military superiority. Now, the ultimate reasons behind why these threats keep happening and why these guys have gotten so belligerent are frankly beyond me, but if I had to guess, I would strike it down to just Bond villain megalomania. These guys really think they deserve to run the whole goddamn world. I mean, they've done such a great job with their own country. So, nuclear threat. As we've been finding out, they have been attempting to develop a nuclear program for some time now, and have been visiting hobby shops all over the world to gather materials for a rocket to fire it at someone. Now, the problem is what they're saying on the news anyway, but take that with a grain of salt, because these are people that profit directly from your panic and worry. So what's being said now is that they've got some rockets that can reportedly go a little bit further than their own beaches, and that was one of their biggest problems before. And attached to them, warheads that, well, might be able to do a little bit more damage than just knocking the shit off your top shelf, so maybe stick that stuff down with some double-sided tape. I don't know. At any rate, the authorities are considering them a problem that needs to be dealt with, or at least something to be concerned about. As Lewis Black has put it, we may be approaching the threat category of put on the fucking helmet. So, what effectively they've been doing all this time is just pissing everybody off, basically. The long and the short of it is, everybody that they've been threatening have been developing for years and years methods of staving off a nuclear attack if it comes in the form of 1 or 2 or 3 rockets. You know, shooting them down with our own rockets, for example, or hitting them with anti-aircraft guns, or just lasering them out of the sky. The US has been working on that one. Or a sonic blast that makes it, you know, harmlessly blup into the ocean, or something. Everywhere else on Earth is quite a lot more high-tech, and has defense mechanisms that they can use specifically for this threat. And then you've got North Korea, whose technicians and engineers have a little bit less than a 2nd grade reading level. North Korea, Kimmy and his dad have been making threats against every other country for years and years, and not a goddamn thing has happened. Which brings me to, what if Kimmy Jr. actually decided to balls up one day and really do it? How much damage would be done? Well, that's being argued about by a lot of people. But supposedly, right now they've got their hands on a rocket that wasn't built by them, giving it the chance that it might actually work. And a warhead that was also bought from somebody else, giving it a chance that that might actually break a couple windows. So, they are, at the moment, being considered a legitimate threat if they actually take action, which I sincerely doubt. But what happens if they do it? Alright? What are the consequences for North Korea of that kind of action? And, well, flat out fucking annihilation is what? Now, people are saying, no, you can't attack North Korea, they're allied with China. North Korea have been straining their alliance with China for a long time by being belligerent little shits. Here's the thing, China and North Korea's relationship is a little bit like this. Do you have, I don't know, one of those friends that is a fucking pain in the ass, and you're constantly having to get this guy out of trouble? You know, talk people out of fucking murdering him? That's the relationship China and North Korea have. And China's getting awful fucking sick of it. I mean, I've got a friend like that, and after as many times as I've bailed him out, I can honestly say it's like wearing a cheese grater down my pants. It sucks. So, if North Korea makes the mistake of actually attacking pretty much anybody, they won't have China there to protect them, because China has their own interests to look out for. Not to mention that the only reason China is allies with them in the first place is because North Korea is the only other country in the world willing to call itself communist. Even Russia jumped off that boat. Get with the program, guys. So, without China to protect them, they're in a lot of trouble from either Russia or the United States, or both. They might get together and curb stomp the little shit on his front balcony of his palace in front of all of his starving subjects. And you know something? China's just gonna get out a bag of popcorn and watch the whole thing happen. So with all of that as a backdrop, I hope you can understand why I feel totally safe and secure saying Kim Jong-un can go fuck himself, and so can North Korea. You assholes, stop making my grandmother worry.